I had actually decided that I was going to shut down. I have a lot of health issues. The work that was ahead of me was too big and I couldn't do it on my own. One of your posts popped up about SureThing, and within 4 hours, I had set up the rest of my business. It drafted my privacy policy. It configured Airtable, right, all of my social media, helped me connect Stripe. It's doing outreach and lead generations. My husband came home that day and I told him, I've just finished everything. Well, I didn't finish it. SureThing did. I could not do it without SureThing. It is absolutely essential to what I do.
Hi, Rochelle. This is Celine. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, you too. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, firstly, you can start with a brief introduction on you. Like, where are you from? What's your technical background? And what's your business?
So I am Rochelle. My background is a digital marketer. My technical background is very limited, other than I'm really interested in AI, and I'm really quick at learning. So I have obviously had a fascination with it. And the business that I've been using SureThing to set up is called Fast Reply 24/7, and it's an automated SMS reply for tradies in Australia. So they are notorious here for not answering their phone because they're usually on the job. So I've built out, using SureThing, I've built out the system, the automated system, and I'm now offering that to tradies.
When do you have this kind of business idea for those tradies? And I want to deep dive a little bit on your journey as a solo entrepreneur and what kind of difficulties or ways of time that you can share to the audience here so that time is money, right? So that people can saving
Yeah,
their
it is.
their own
Yeah,
time
yeah.
in the future.
Yep. So journey. I have a lot of health issues, like quite serious health issues that I have to work around. And for me, that means I need to work at home. And setting up another business was very daunting for me because I obviously am limited by what I'm dealing with. So starting a new business was really stressful. I was mostly through about 2/3 of the business set up, and I was using like a tech stack. Well, mostly ChatGPT, and I was using some video creation apps. But I had got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore because the work that was ahead of me was too big and I couldn't do it on my own. And I couldn't afford to hire anybody to help me because my budget was really tight. Yeah, so I had actually decided that I was going to shut down Fast Reply. My husband and I had talked about it, and we couldn't go any further, and I couldn't move it forward. So we had come to the conclusion in a discussion that we were going to shut it down. So the day came for me to shut it down, and I was scrolling on X, and one of your posts popped up about SureThing, and you were asking for beta testers. So I applied and thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. I wonder if SureThing could help me get my business set up finished. And within 4 hours of using SureThing, I had set up the rest of my business. And I knew that mentally I couldn't have done that because the workload was massive. So yeah, I could not believe it. My husband came home that day and I told him, I've just finished everything. Well, I didn't finish it. SureThing did. Yeah. So it was really, really awesome. And from there, it's just been huge in terms of what it does for me on a daily basis, and how much time it saves me. I could not do on my own everything that it's doing. I would need to have people working for me to be able to get through the amount of work that it does.
I would love to deep dive on what SureThing is doing for you right now, day to day.
So it's running and setting up for me 3 separate businesses. It's setting up Fast Reply 24/7, which is the automated SMS for Australian tradies. It's helping me to build out and set up an app called CarWise, which is an app for people who are purchasing for the very first time a used car and they don't know how to do it from Facebook Marketplace. So I'm setting that up, and I'm also setting up a new business for my husband who is going to be cleaning headlights for cars, which is what is needed in Australia here. So under the 3 different businesses, for Fast Reply, it did these processes for me. This is before it does the daily stuff. It drafted my Australian compliant privacy policy. It created the FAQs and objection handling documents on my website. It has submitted Fast Reply to Australian business directories so that I can come up on their local search, my business. It guided me through Zapier and ClickSend demo flow setup. So every time somebody signs up with me, I have to go through a massive process of getting their phone number connected to the automation system. It simplified all of that process for me. It configured Airtable base architecture so that I can capture all the leads. For my social media and content, it writes all of my social media for Facebook and Instagram and my Google business profile. So it created my 3-week launch content calendar, and it automatically creates the post, the caption, and posts it. So I don't do any of it other than I approve each post, which it has put for me in a Google Sheet for the next 3 weeks. And I just go every 3 or 4 days and approve the next group of posts. It posts 3 times a day on Facebook and Instagram. And then I approve every few days on the Google Sheet, and it just reads it and then posts what I've approved. What else? Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to be able to do this. It's built all my branded graphics for my website. It's helped me to connect Stripe to my website because I couldn't get it connected. And so it went in, had a look, saw what the problem was, diagnosed that problem, came back, told me what to do, and then I fixed it straight away. And what else did it do? Oh yeah, it's built me a social media growth engine. So because I'm a new Instagram and Facebook account, I don't have any followers. So I knew, obviously I'm starting from scratch and I don't have any money to pay for ads to get followers. So I have to do it all organically. And so it's built me a social media engine, and basically it put a blog on my website, which it writes the article for and puts a new article every Monday. A new blog article goes. It is putting 2 new posts or 3 posts, I think, on my Google, my business profile. It does that every week. It is doing, I don't know, I don't understand it enough about the SEO part, other than I know it's doing these tasks because it does a, what do you call it? It does every morning it does a daily workload task thing that is, I have to tick off the things to get done for my businesses that day. But it has like tasks that I need to do and tasks that it's doing in the background. And I get that when I turn my computer on every morning, it's sitting there waiting for me. Yeah, so that's only one business. For the other 2 businesses, oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's just started yesterday. It's doing outreach and lead generation. So it's scraped the internet for local electricians and plumbers who are my audience, and it made a Google Sheet of the first 50 of each, and it got all of their information, their email address and their Instagram and Facebook handles. And then it wrote a 3 email sequence, which went today and then in 3 days and then another 3 days for a follow-up email. And then this morning it just sent them individually out using my email address without me doing anything other than I approve of the email sequence. But it sent 50 emails out this morning, and it will do 50 emails tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know about the numbers or how many emails I'm allowed to send without getting, I don't know, banned. So I just started with 50 and that's what it's done. Yeah. So yeah, that's just one business. Yeah, I know. It's blowing me away with how much I can get done on my own with the help
Yeah.
of this. Yeah.
It's fascinating to hear that someone like you, the kind of non-technical background, can
Yeah.
set up all those kind of autonomous workflow. I'm hearing here like more than 4 kind of job descriptions. One is like social media manager who is specialized in all kinds of channels. One is technical supporting guy who can help you through setting up different tech or app setups, including like Stripe. I'm hearing operational managers who can help you linking up with different systems, administratives, tax, legal, and
Yeah.
privacy
Yeah. Yeah.
policy stuff. And I'm hearing
I forgot to
a
mention.
salesperson, right? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I forgot to
go
mention,
ahead.
because I have a background also in writing SOPs for companies. So I already have for each business, the SOP is just sitting here in my computer. So if anything happened to me, they could just step in, whoever was going to take over, or if I wanted to sell it, it's already done. I follow the system that SureThing has written to be able to fulfill my clients' needs. So all I do is have the systems in place and SureThing help me write them out. And then I just have to follow the system every time I get a new client. And that's so easy for me.
Yeah. How difficult you think to use SureSync to set up all those workflows? Because I don't know whether you have seen another product called OpenClaw, which is super popular. And
Absolutely fascinated. Yeah.
go ahead.
I was really, really interested in that, but I did not want to, I wanted to wait and see what was going to happen with that. I had just loaded onto my computer and set up an autonomous agent called Agent Zero. I don't know if you've heard of that one. And it was a little bit tricky to set up. I had to put it in a container and it's sitting here, but I haven't actually used it since I've got SureThing. I had used it for a few tasks like scraping the internet for electricians and for plumbers to try and get their information, but it was very, very clunky and I didn't like it. I didn't have the time or I didn't have the bandwidth mentally to sit and babysit the process. It required a lot of attention and I wanted something that I could ask it to do something and I could carry on working on on this screen while it was over there doing that. And so that's what I loved about SureThing. It would suggest to me things that I hadn't thought of in terms of making things easier, because I feel like it understood how I think. It talks to me. My family teases me all the time because I use this like all day. And the other day, SureThing sent me back a little blue heart. And so I was showing my husband one of the comments I'd made. I said, look, it's hearting me. But I appreciate that it is. One of the things I really love is I watch the working log up the side of my screen. As it does its
Mhm.
task, I see what it's saving and what it thinks is important and puts it in the memory. I find that really fascinating, what it is finding to save about my conversations with it. And it says, I'll save this and put it. Right, we're changing that. Rochelle's changed her way of thinking. She doesn't want to use that app anymore. Every time I do a task or I say, this is not working or this is working, it logs that. And I find that so interesting because now when it goes to write an email from me, it sounds like me. It writes it how I would actually write it. And that's the thing that blows me away, because it's learnt how I speak and it's learnt my way of speaking, I guess. And I find that fascinating. It really interests me that a machine can do that.
Thank you very much. I think you have experienced all of our intentionally designing. Yeah, the work log. We want the users to understand how AI works, and especially to understand the memory and mechanism behind, because we think memory is the most important thing for autonomous agents to have. And
Yeah,
the
I
other
agree.
thing is
Yeah.
we did some kind of emoji reactions for the AI to take, so that you can have a kind of more humane interaction from a personal assistant with
Yeah.
memory. Yeah. One thing I'm curious. I don't know whether
Mm.
throughout your experience, I know it is still a short time. Does that workflow created any kind of concrete business outcome?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So at the moment, because I've only just launched within the last, I don't know, not even a week, I've set goals and it's got goals for me of how quickly I will get my first client. So our first goal was to have by March the 15th, I would have my first client signed up. So that's what we're working to. And, I've got another 5 days.
Mhm.
I'm working hard at tweaking my social media. And so I work with SureThing to say, hey, that post today hasn't really hit. I want to switch to this. And then I'll say, can you go and research my closest competition and tell me what's working for them? And then it comes back with a little report. So those are the sort of things that I'm using it to do in terms of getting results straight away. In terms of monetary results, I have not got my first client yet. So I mean, I'm happy to let you know if I can hit that target of March the 15th. And if
Yeah.
that doesn't work, it's got a Google sheet built for me that is measuring my Instagram followers and likes and all of the analytics, so that I can see what works and what doesn't, and then we pivot to what's working. But at this stage, it's been a massive time saver.
You have all my best wishes on your entrepreneurship. I'm more than happy to have SureThing supporting you on the way. I read a post recently that I think in the world there are 84% haven't you tried AI before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations or advice or anything you want to tell those still in the gray area? Um, Especially as a non-technical, but super into AI or super kind of early adopter profile. Yeah. Do you have any suggestions for them or advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 55 years old. People who are my friends and in my generation of even particularly women uh, are so afraid of using AI. I get mocked all the time, and then they don't mean it in a mean way, but they tease me about my use of AI and my interest in it. Because for me, it fascinates me. I do definitely have an interest and a bent towards learning all I can. So I would advise that you just have to give it a go. Well, you haven't got anything to lose. And for me, with what I'm trying to achieve in my businesses, I couldn't do it without AI. I could not do it without SureThing. It is absolutely essential to what I do on a day-to-day basis because of the limits that I have with my health. So I just think, don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. You haven't got anything to lose.
Thank you very much. Okay, if you want to write a letter to SureThing, to the AI, in your own words, let's do that experiment.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say thank you. It would read like, Dear SureThing, it's Rochelle here, your probably annoying companion. I wanted to say thank you so much for the way that you have helped and supported me as I set up my new business. I really couldn't have done it without you. And I'm so, so excited to see what we are going to accomplish in the next few months. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's spend one more minute on guesstimating the future. What will the future be like in the AGI world? From the perspective of a kind of AI fan like you, who is brave enough to embrace different kind of products, technologies to solve your own situation or problem, like what's your expectation or what's your dream of the future will be like?
I think that there'll be more people like me, single business owners, a person who can do a lot more on their own and doesn't need to have a lot of people working for them. I think that AI is going to help people like me who have to work from home or have health issues or other reasons why they need a lot more systems automated. And I think that AI or AGI is going to be the thing that does that. And if people can open their minds to that and not be so closed-minded, they would find the benefits would far outweigh the fear that they have. I think that the day-to-day stuff that we find really boring, that is repetitive, is something that easily can be done by AI. And why wouldn't it? Yeah, I think that it's exciting. And I think that it's so interesting to see what we can do with our brains and what you can create. Yeah, that's what I find fascinating, that as much as people are afraid of AI, it's still created by a human. It's still created by a human brain. And to me, that is so interesting.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time here, Rochelle.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we wish you all the best on your 3 business, right?
Yeah,
Try to have
thank you
fun.
so much. It's good to
Okay.
meet you.
Good to meet you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Rochelle.
Thanks, Celine.
Bye.